Hello everyone, welcome back. I am so excited about my fabric destash and all the money that I made, and I thought I should make a video about buying, being a buyer as well. I have been addicted to these destashing sites, and hopefully I didn't introduce it to you and now you have a new addiction. But there are some things to keep in mind, 7 things to keep in mind. The first one is all that glitters is not gold. Just because it is pretty and it's a good price doesn't necessarily mean that you need to buy it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to buy it and then you're going to look at it later and go, oh, but I don't need this, I don't have a quilt I can do it in. Then you paid for the shipping's gone. There is no return policy on this, so if you get buyer's remorse, you're stuck with it. So, all that glitters is not gold. Do you really need it? Even if it's free, do you really need it? Let somebody else have it. Do you really need it? That depends on your money, your storage, and your need. Keep those things in mind. All that glitters is not gold. Number 2, once you say my or mine please, actually, instead of mine. Sometimes when people have really good prices or really cute stuff, it kind of seems like it's everybody just grabbing at it. But just because you say mine and me, that means you buy it. Don't go back on your word. I had a lady who bought one piece of fabric from me, and it probably cost her more in shipping, but because of the principle, she said, no, I'm going to buy it. And that's really how you should do it. If you say mine, it's yours. Unless there's like 3 people behind you, and then you could say I passed to the next in line. If there's nobody next in line, you really should buy it. It's just keeping up with your word. Along with that is, if you ask a question, you're not necessarily buying it. So if you ask a question, you say, is that blue or is it black? And then somebody underneath you says, mine please. That means it goes to the next person. You asked a question. It's difficult as a seller to know, are you asking it because you want it? Are you just asking it because you want to know the color? You know, there could be a lot of different reasons. It's difficult for a seller to understand what your intent was. So you need to say, mine please, add to my box, something that reserves it. Another thing that you could say with questions is, mine pending questions. That reserves it unless you answer the question, it's blue and I want it black. Number 4, I'm not really good at. Pay right away. I don't know, you get going with your stuff, it gets reserved, and then a couple hours later you're doing your thing and then the invoice comes. You really need to pay that right away. I don't always see stuff right away, but as soon as you see it, you need to pay that right away. It makes it so much easier on the seller, because then they can put your stuff together and get it out of their house. It's just pay right away, and I am guilty of not doing this one. I am sorry for all those who are actually watching this going, but you didn't pay right away. I'm sorry. Pay right away as much as possible. The 5th thing to keep in mind is shipping. So not everybody will do like a first class package, which is under 16 pounds. It's normally about $5-ish. So some people will just say the mailer is $8, the medium size box is $13, and the large box is $18. If you watched my video, you know that those prices are actually $7.55, $12.60, and $17.80. I might have those mixed up. Anyway, it's 60 or 80 cents. And they'll round up, they'll say 8, 13, and 18. That's because PayPal takes a piece of it. When you invoice somebody, PayPal takes a piece of it, and they're just kind of sharing that cost with you, so they kind of put it in the shipping cost. Just so you know. Number 6 is communicate with the seller. If there's any problems, make sure you communicate with them in a private message as best you can, especially if you think there's something rude or unkind going on. There might not be, but if you do it in a private message, you can clean it up a lot quicker than if it's in the midst of stuff where everybody can read it. So send them a private message and say, hey, this isn't right, and 99.9% of the time it can all be fixed. and it can all be cleaned up. If you don't get an invoice, a lot of times it might be because they typed it in wrong, or there could be a lot of just simple little misunderstandings. So communicate with the seller first, and then if the seller is just retarded for whatever reason, then go to the group admins, the administrators of the group, and report them. They can't force anybody to give fabric. They can't force anybody to give a refund. They cannot force anybody. They're not thugs. They can't do that. But if there's enough people that complain, they could kick them out of the group. So this kind of thing won't happen to other people. So if they're a jerk, just report them to the admins. That's the best you can do. If you don't get any fabric and you paid for it, you can also contact PayPal and say, hey, I didn't get my fabric, and PayPal will look at your case and say you didn't get fabric, you paid for it, and they'll refund you your money. That happens. It's not a guarantee. I'm not giving a guarantee, but it does happen. Number 7, and probably one of the better things that is on these sites, is that you can search. So have you ever made a quilt and you just, this almost happened to me on my niece's baby quilt. I almost needed just, I mean, like this much fabric. Just a little piece of off-white or something, you know, but it does happen on quilts that you need just, man, I need this specific fabric and I need just a bit more to finish up this quilt, or to finish, I've seen somebody who needed sleeves for a dress. There, you can do an ISO, in search of. You can do an ISO on there with the picture, and there are so many people that take time to look it up and to follow up. And I've even seen somebody who said I couldn't find it anywhere. Somebody else came back with an item number. Somebody else said I have 2 yards, and they gave it to them at a great price. It really is a great community out there. So if you are in search of fabric, throw it up there and maybe somebody has it and you can save yourself on that quilt. All right, short, sweet. Hope this helps you. If you have any other ideas, please put them in the comment. And thanks for watching. Happy sewing.